Hello everyone, welcome back to one of these random I talk into the microphone for a bit videos because I'm too unwell to do anything else. Actually, I'm sort of improving, I'm not feeling as bad as I was, but still not great, but we're feeling better, so I am quite enjoying doing these facecam videos, and if you're enjoying these random videos where I just talk to you about stuff for a bit, let me know and maybe I'll do some more of them in the future. But what I wanted to talk about today is something I sort of touched upon when I was doing my video on the Russell T Davies one-show interview. And that was the idea that Russell T Davies has been nothing but nice and kind towards the Jodie Whittaker era, and yet still, some people are still trying to push this idea that the Russell T Davies era merely existing is unfair to Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor. Now, I've seen people basically say that, the fact that David Tennant is coming back, and Catherine Tate coming back for the 60th is unfair, no matter how you slice it. And all I have to say to that is, look at Matt Smith's penultimate episode. Matt Smith's penultimate episode was the 50th anniversary, which saw the return of the 10th Doctor, the introduction of a new Doctor played by John Hurt, the introduction of the actual new incumbent Doctor, Peter Capaldi, in a cameo scene, as well as the featuring of the curator played by Tom Baker, arguably the most iconic Doctor, and even, Billie Piper returning to Doctor Who for the first time in years, admittedly playing a different character, but still. And yet I saw no one at that point complain about Smith being overshadowed at any point. But now, because it's the Whittaker era that's being moved on from, it feels like, oh, it's unfair. It's like, it really isn't. And I don't get it. I don't understand this thing that keeps getting brought up. I don't know why it keeps getting brought up. It's something that Doctor Who fans... Here's the thing, though, right? Here's the thing. It's not even like Jodie Whittaker is feeling upset by any of this, right? Jodie Whittaker is friends with David Tennant. She knew about Ncuti before we did. She is nothing but, encouraging of the future of the show, and she probably loves the fact that David is coming back because, as I said, they're friends, and she's probably happy for him. So this whole thing that it's unfair to Jodie, it almost feels like fandom projection. It feels like the fans of this era are sad that Jodie's leaving, which they have every right to feel, but instead of just saying, oh, I'm really sad about Jodie leaving, they've instead decided to create this idea that it's unfair to Jodie, and it's like, no, it really isn't, and Jodie doesn't feel bad about it. She had 3 series, and the production team that made, the Chibnall era of the show had 3 series, and they seem to enjoy doing it, and they probably got paid very well for doing it. They're not, being shafted here, really. The only time where I could say, the Jodie Whittaker era team were probably shafted a little bit was when they announced Russell taking over before Series 13 broadcast. I think there is a case to be made there that yes, that probably wasn't the best time to announce it. It made Series 13 less relevant, let's just be real. But what I wanted to use this video to talk about was, are there any times where you can genuinely argue Jodie Whittaker was overshadowed? And the only time that I can promptly think of that I would say I'd agree with would be sort of 2020, 2021 sort of period of time, after Series 12 but before Series 13, because around that time we had a lot of spin-off stuff, and very little of it was to do with the 13th Doctor. We had Time Lord Victorious, that whole event. We had 10 appearing a lot alongside 13 in the comics. We had Edge of Reality, the video game, which was a crossover between the 10th Doctor and the 13th Doctor as well. And we had things like the Doctor Who lockdown events, which, while they weren't official, did include a lot of the official cast and crew of the show. And obviously, the Whittaker era wasn't a part of that, because I believe the BBC didn't want the Whittaker era to be part of that for some reason. I think there was some sort of rule against that, because they did their own watch-alongs. I'm not sure. But all that sort of led to, 2020, 2021, Jodie wasn't really in the picture very much. Obviously, she herself did the occasional thing, she did that great little lockdown video telling everyone to stay inside, which I really enjoyed. I thought that was a nice, cute little thing that she did in costume. But yeah, that's the only time where I could strongly argue that Jodie Whittaker was overshadowed by other things. But beyond that, I just don't think this is an example or a case where you can strongly argue that there's being deliberate sabotage done to a Doctor or an era. It's like, it's just the natural progression of the show, really. And as well, like, you know, as much as we all root for Doctor Who and we root for our favourite actors and we root for, you know, everyone, like, and I love everyone who works on Doctor Who, it ain't a charity, you know what I mean? Like, why would they want to hamper the future for what seems like a very negligible benefit, if any benefit at all? It really doesn't make any sense. Like, at the end of the day, and as I've said before, you know, a lot of people think that Russell was lying when he said, oh, you know, we're gonna keep quiet until 2023, but that is still the case. The only things he's actually announced are the things that he's absolutely had to announce, as in the things that we're filming literally days later, i.e. Tennant and Tate, and Neil Patrick Harris and things like that, and obviously Shooty would have probably leaked as well. Those are the only things he's announced. The announcements themselves aren't even that much. It's just that it feels like a lot, because we haven't had very much going on very recently, so it feels like loads, but in reality, he's basically just been announcing the things he's had to announce, and at any point where he has been, you know, invited somewhere, like, you know, on the one show to talk about Doctor Who, he's deliberately made sure that the centenary gets mentioned, which is not something he has to do. Like, it's not his, you know, obviously it's his job as showrunner to make sure Doctor Who itself looks good, but the centenary isn't his thing. He doesn't have to promote it if he doesn't want to. But he's doing it because he has a lot of respect for the team who made it, Jodie Whittaker as a person, and, you know, he just seems like a class act. So why people continue to peddle this narrative that it's being unfair to Jodie and that Russell's some sort of evil man, I will never understand. I don't get it at all. And I really hope that soon, like, we stop doing this. Like, I think the fan base needs to, like, realise that it's just the way the show works, and this whole, like, oh, Jodie's been treated super unfair. I find it patronising towards Jodie, if anything, really. It's like you're so protective of it to the point where you don't want anything even remotely, you know, bad. But it's not even bad, it's just normal. Like, Jodie Whittaker's a grown woman. I'm sure she's fine with the fact that the show that she was on casts another person. Like, she was fully aware of that. And in fact, as far as we're aware, you know, it was her decision to leave. Obviously, her and Chris Chibnall made the 3 series and outpacked, so why now people are suddenly trying to act like it was this unfair thing? I get it, right, if Jodie Whittaker had been fired or something like that, but that, by all accounts, that just doesn't seem to be what happened, so I'm just really perplexed as to why people keep pushing this. Also, just want to let you know that we're still doing the promotion with Atlas VPN, so if you use the link in the description below, you'll get a discount from Atlas VPN. But yeah, that's all from me. Just wanted to talk about this, really. I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye. Shout out to Debs Iona, Shane Smith, Ree Keffin, Seb Lowndes, Jay Monroe, Hash Shandycoot, Patrick Newson, Simon Ashley, Steve Safaro, Andrew Townsend, Alex Robbins, Michael Dykes, Paul Bryden, Sam Yates, Michael Rhodes, Jerry the Meerkat, Heretic, Cameron Jefferson, John M, Andrew Evanson, JM97, Gallifreyan Rob, Cliff's Random Silliness, Kyle McCroy, Nova Wolf Gaming, Carol Jude, Mr. KNL, Autumn Matthews, Josh Rocks 123. If you want to become a member, feel free to do so. It really helps out. You get exclusive posts, shout outs in every video, and even your own badge and custom emojis to use.